was cut off of the video where I was talking about their pattern. Their pattern is to lie to hide the truth. So when they lied and said they wanted to keep me hidden, why would you try to catch me on a hot mic and expose me? And they said they were doing it in real time. And to show you how, if they were exposing me in real time from 2016 until 2019, they were trying to be nice to me. There wasn't a problem. It wasn't until about 2019 when they maybe late 2018 when they really started to get nasty. And that's my point. I wasn't doing anything wrong. They said they have a pattern of always picking up the phone when I'm on the phone. That's a lie. Again, I'm not going to go off on what someone who's trying to make herself more important than she is saying. She isn't as important as she thinks she is. And that's my problem. It's hard. You know, when I was a kid, we had adults around us who knew how to speak to people in that way. And I think that's something else that changed. I think when we went into a society where everything has to be politically correct, they would try to keep the older generation from saying the truth. And then it became something like, oh, that person's crazy. No, they weren't crazy. They were making a lot of sense. They wouldn't have shut them up if they weren't making sense. And that's what I'm saying. The pattern is to lie to hide the truth. It's not to, if you're crazy and you're saying all these crazy things, then they'll broadcast it. If you're not saying anything crazy, then they'll hide it. So what they were broadcasting wasn't me talking. It was them talking. And they thought people would believe it was me. The problem is they're realizing they keep going over this over and over. My family, I said a lot of times, we're of West Indian descent and we're from a country that was British. I think it's now British again too. So I think it's still part of the British, you know, the monarchy. So we say things in a way that's a little different from the way some people speak. And they said that was what how they got caught, because the way I phrase things and the interactions I would have would sound different from the way they would speak. But also, if you're 24/7 monitoring me and I'm not talking, you would know that you're lying. But it was to hide the truth, that they're not monitoring me to expose me. They're monitoring me to steal from me. The other big deal about being of West Indian descent, and I've realized with them, is that according to them, now I'm no expert on this racism, like that was the biggest issue. The biggest issue is that they have a hard time painting me as a racist, a sexist, a whatever-ist, because I'm not. So when they lied about what I was saying, they said something really horrible. And it was so horrible that I caught it and I said this in another video. It offended me, and I'm not even in that group. So as this is going on and they're talking and pretending to be me and cloning me and all this other stuff and committing crimes and this being allowed, I realize what they're saying is that in certain West Indian countries, certain groups were dividing into different races and different ethnicities. And that's not something that I would have been familiar with. I'm too young to have known this. But it seems like many, many, many years ago, probably in the 1800s or early 1900s, you could be black, but you wouldn't be classified as a certain type of black. I don't know. I'm not even going to look into all of that. Some things they want me to go into is just part of their pattern of pointing me in this direction when I should be in this direction. And I'm not going to fall for that. But